Thanks for joining me here today. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video talking through one of my favourite types of dessert, which is a Creme Catalana. It's very similar to a creme brulee, but it's a sort of Spanishy version with citrus and fennel infused into the milk. So we're going to start off with 750 ml of milk, which we're just going to get warming up, and we're going to add to that a nice selection of flavours. So this is a family favourite of ours. It's quite simple to produce. It just uses corn flour as a thickening agent, and you're basically setting a heated up infused mixture of milk which has got eggs in it to create kind of like a custard, but it's actually it sets, and then you cover the top of that with a nice sugar and caramelize it, and you get that nice sort of crunchy top, which you associate normally with a creme brulee. So I'm just going to add 100 grams of caster sugar into the milk as it prepares to boil. Okay, so we'll add that in. And I'm just going to add some fennel seeds, which I'm going to crush lightly just to get the flavours coming out. Some cinnamon bark. So in our saucepan here we have milk, cinnamon, fennel seeds crushed up, and sugar, which we're just going to bring to the boil. As soon as it's reached the boil, we're going to add in some zests, a zest of lemon and zest of an orange, or this kind of soft fruit type thing. So we'll add those into the mix. So while we're waiting for the milk to boil, I'm just going to measure out my eggs. I need 2 whole eggs, and I also need 6 egg yolks to make this. We'll hold on to the egg whites and we'll use them to make a meringue or something tomorrow. So I'm just going to crack these into my bowl, and then we will have these ready for preparing. So to separate them out, what I like to do is I like to just crack them into a mug. Then when I make sure I've got my 6 yolks, basically drain the white off into the mug, and then one by one decant that into another container, and it just makes it a bit easier to keep track of what you're doing, because the one thing I don't want to do is to be separating my eggs and find that one of my yolks break or something goes wrong with it, and if you've got them into your overall mix, it's just going to be a bit of an annoying thing to have that done. So I separate one yolk out and pop that straight into my bowl. So 6 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs go into this mixture. Okay, so my milk is just starting to boil, so I'm going to turn that off immediately, and I shall just add in my grated zest. Give it a quick stir. Just give it a quick stir, and we'll leave that to infuse for about 5 to 10 minutes, which gives us time to generally have a bit of a tidy up and get on with a few other bits and pieces. So in here I have my 6 egg whites, which have been separated from the egg yolks, so they'll just go in the fridge and we use them for meringues on another day. And in here I have my 6 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs, to which I will add 50 grams of caster sugar. So we'll just dump the caster sugar straight in, like so. And then later on we'll use a balloon whisk just to get that all agitated. So using the balloon whisk, which we'll just have ready here, that will be something we can get all this hot milk once it's infused, put it into that bowl with the mixed up egg yolks and sugar. And then we're going to get that going, reheat that, then add the corn flour until it thickens, and then it's ready to put into dishes and to serve. Okay, so my mix has now had a fair bit of time to kind of infuse all of that flavour into the milk. I'm just going to whisk up the eggs. I'm going to add in the corn flour. Now the corn flour has to be measured out to about 40 grams, but I'm going to need to get it sort of whisked in quite well, otherwise it can be a bit lumpy. You want it to be thoroughly whisked into the egg before you add the milk. I'm just going to weigh up my quantity. So we'll just whisk this up for about 30 seconds. Just to get a little bit of air into it and get it all mixed up nicely together. It's just literally a mixture of egg and sugar that we have in here. So nice free-range eggs, good quality stuff, nice and healthy. So now that it's nicely whisked up, I'll add in the corn flour. So let's dump that straight in. Like I said, corn flour is sticky and difficult, and it's a bit of a pain to work with. So you'll always find that you get bits stuck in the bowl. But we need to get all of that incorporated in and get rid of any lumps. So you're really looking to sort of smush it to the sides and then incorporate that into the egg. And you do need a sort of balloon whisk like this to be able to do this. If you try and use a fork or something else like that, you're just not going to get into the corn flour enough to break it down. So a balloon whisk is going to get this down pretty well for you. In fact, that's basically done. So, here we have our egg mixture. All we're going to do with this now is we're going to take the milk that's in the pan, we're just going to sieve that to get rid of any bits and pieces of seeds, etc. So we're going to pass that through a nice sieve, and we're going to incorporate it into this egg mixture. Just beating it with the whisk as we do. As soon as that's incorporated in, we shall give this a quick clean, tip it back in, and then we would increase the heat, put it back on the heat again, and heat it up until it's starting to thicken. So that milk smells fantastic because of all that lovely citrus, fennel, got a real aniseed, sort of lemony, orangey, lovely flavour to this. And the cinnamon as well. Now, this is quite good as a two-person job, but if you're one person, just decant a little bit of this into here. And then give that a good whisk. You don't want it to curdle. So we'll just tip a little bit in. It's quite good as a two-person job, this. And whisking prevents the egg from scrambling or curdling, so that you introduce the heat into the egg via the milk, but not too much at once, and not directly onto the heat. So we'll just put this mixture back into the bowl, into the pan. Pop the whisk in, and we'll put that back on the heat. So get a reasonable heat going. You should really stand here and keep stirring this the whole time. Basically keep it agitated. You don't want it to curdle. You don't want the eggs to scramble or to split or separate. And I'm just going to introduce some heat back into that quickly, do a little bit of tidying up. So for serving purposes, we like to use these sort of traditional Catalan style bowls. which are ideal to sort of individually portioned bowls, because you basically serve one per individual person. But we have a few other ones as well that we have as sort of extras and little bits and pieces, because we don't have enough. This recipe will do about 8 bowls, something like that, serve about 8 people. So we get a few of these out and we just have them scattered around ready for this. You don't want the egg and milk mixture to boil, you just want it to heat until the corn flour starts to activate and thicken. If you don't heat it enough, the corn flour won't thicken, you'll just be here for ages. But as soon as you hit the right level of heat, the corn flour will take over very quickly and this will get quite gloopy. It needs to be something you can spoon into the bowls. You don't want to really be pouring it. It should be sort of spooning texture, not pouring texture. Okay, so just keep this stirring away. It's starting to thicken now. You can feel the resistance from the whisk as you're moving it around. It starts to get quite custardy. As it does, just turn it down so you don't overdo it. Because once it starts to thicken, it will definitely just keep going kind of on its own. So we'll take that off the heat. Well, that's basically good. So in terms of texture, we're looking quite sort of thick textured. So if I bring this over, I'll just show you how this is sort of shaping up. Take nice spoonfuls and drop them into the bowl. So that's the kind of texture and consistency you're looking for. It's quite sort of wobbly, almost jelly-like, and we're just going to leave these to cool and then put them in the fridge for a couple of hours. Once they've been in the fridge for 2 or so hours, then you can put a layer of demerara sugar on top and then use a blowtorch or a very hot grill if you happen to have one, like a gas grill, to caramelize that sugar and create a hard sugar top. Okay, so these are all done now. I've got about 9 of them prepared. Just leave them to cool for 10-15 minutes, then we'll get them in the fridge. Okay, so it's been a couple of hours, all nicely set now. Okay, so this is all good stuff, it's not going to go anywhere. Now what we do is we take demerara sugar. Okay, so on top of this we're going to use my cooking blowtorch, which we're going to use to caramelize some demerara sugar. I like to do 2 layers to get a really, really nice crunch on top of this. So we sprinkle demerara all over the top, create a nice layer. A bit of a shake, not too much to start with because we can do more later. And we just use the blowtorch to start to burn that and caramelize and melt that sugar. As long as you keep it moving, it's not going to affect the Catalana itself. And the main thing is you get this lovely sort of warmth from the top and this fabulous sort of crunch on the top of them, but underneath is still cool, and it's a fantastic sort of summer dessert for mixing together 2 different textures and consistencies. Actually, consistencies, flavours and textures. That's what we like. Okay, so this was my recipe for creme catalana. Hope that was fun for you, enjoying this cooking video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll post some information on the recipe. The recipe is from Michelle Roux Senior cookbook that I have. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, you can reach me through my email address, which is juliettesnoir@gmail.com. Feel free to like, share and subscribe, click the little bell so you're notified of upcoming videos, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks as ever, and bye! Bye! I'm going to eat it in another video. You'll see.